I'm Kamal. I'm a developer advocate at Microsoft, and I'm also a YouTuber and a Google developer expert in Flutter. So you might wonder, why is she into Google as well as in Microsoft? So there's one thing that I learned is never stick to one technology. Flutter was my passion, where I used to build apps, and that keeps still going on. Microsoft is my job, which I still do building apps for Teams. That is Microsoft 365. How many of you are using Microsoft Teams for calling, for messaging, communications, right? Okay, I see someone in the green shirt with the hat. You use Teams a lot, right? Okay, so what's your main thing that you use Teams for? A little bit more loud. Assignments, okay. Anybody uses just for doing meeting calls? Okay. What is that one thing that you faced or kind of an issue that you think could be improved? Any issues? Because we use day in and day out with Teams, right, making calls. So what is that one thing or a couple of things that you find issues? Channels. Okay, it has a long list of channels, right? I totally agree with it. Even I do the same. When I joined Microsoft, I was like, how many channels to follow, where to follow, whom to follow? I'll tell you one funny story where I had faced. My entire team is throughout the global. And when I had to schedule a meeting, I had to go to Google, find out which time zone they are, whether it matches to my IST, and then check if they are out of office. That was a huge hassle for me. So like this, there were so many things in Teams that I thought could be implemented. Simple. Have you heard about sketch notes, MOMs, meetings? So whenever there is a meeting happening, Teams calls, and you get the entire transcript, right? What if I'm not able to attend the meeting today, and I have someone preparing a MOM of it and give it to me as a doc file? So these are the small things that really works out in Team, but nobody knows about it. The moment I say Microsoft Team, the only thing people think about is communication, chat, taking calls, and maybe attachment, or literally talk to your colleagues, or find someone's profile to find out what designation they are and which location they are. This is what people really use Teams or any of the channels or most of the things. But the beauty of Teams is much more than that. That's what I'm going to talk about, how to use Azure DevOps using Microsoft Teams. If you see, there are people using Azure DevOps exclusively for building project, managing project. It's a good practice. And they use Teams for collaborating, communication, these kind of process. But nobody uses both of them together. That's the beauty of it. And if you do it, trust me, you would be more efficient in managing your projects. Because as a developer, at the end of the day, your job is to efficiently deliver the project to your client. You're not going to follow the old school style of building it, giving it to another person, getting things from the GitHub repo, forking it, and then there's something wrong, again contact that team. No. I want a single tool where I can manage everything in one place. That is what I'm looking for. Just to give you with a simple example, I always keep mixing up with technologies. Say for example, 5 years back I was an Android developer. When I used to develop apps for my client, I used to develop one in Android, Java, another one was in iOS. This was the complications that I used to have. But now things have changed. I have single code base, that is Flutter, React, where I develop once and I'm able to run on multiple devices. I don't have to wait for someone to build individual device-oriented coding. So similar way, we have integration between DevOps and Teams. So all you have to do is just open Teams, get your connectors, pipeline set, and you can get all your project DevOps in your Teams in seconds. Did anybody knew about it or anybody using it? No. Okay, I see one hand. Good, great. So just let me know if you have any issues or concerns so that we can definitely address it, because I represent Microsoft, so I have to get it back to them. So this is what we are going to see it, and you're going to use it very effectively going forward. All right, so the agenda is very simple and straightforward. I'm not going to introduce to a new tech stack, or I'm going to talk about or making a tech stack down and talking about another tech stack, no, or talking about Teams, no. It's about how to make your job easy while you have these tools in hand right now, but still not using it effectively. So it's going to be about DevOps, the importance of DevOps. When I used to start my career in IT, people used to ask me, how good are you at Android? How good are you at Java, .NET, C, C++? These days, how good are you at DevOps? How good are you at open source library contributions? Do you have a GitHub link? Have you worked with libraries? Have you worked with communities? These are the kind of questions that are being probed to you, and this is how things are going to be going forward. So do not tell that I have 5 years of experience in Java. No, that's really not going to work out. They're going to ask how much of open source experience do you have? Do you have experience building libraries, communities, giving talks, workshop, mentoring? Yes, any of this, you're good to go. Or else, please think about it. It's not about learning a tech. I can do it overnight, sit on internet, watch a YouTuber, and I can get those subjects. But getting these kind of skills is something that makes you stand out of the rest of the crowd. Community, as I told you, be part of the communities, attend boot camps, attend meetups. It's not about spending money and attending conference, it's about networking. Talk to people, understand what is the latest tech. Just to give you a gist of it, how many of you know about what's low code, no code? Any idea? Okay. Do you want to talk about it, or you just want to let know what do you know about it?
Basically, the business user are not technical person, makes some utility, something with the shorter period of time with the less technical.
Okay. Now I'll tell you why I'm talking about this low code, no code. In 2025, it's been predicted that AI is going to take over all of your jobs, most of our jobs, because machines are good enough to do these kind of things. Writing down the boilerplate code, starting a project, testing things, all this would be taken by machines. So the job of the developer is what here then? It is to come up with the functionality, the architecture, the features. These are the things we would be concentrating. So trust me, by 2025, things are going to change. The industry is booming. Initially, had to create a website. I need to catch hold of a UI UX developer, get the design, and then get the back-end, front-end, and all get rolling up. But these days, I have the tools ready-made for me. I paid 999 India rupees or $9, and I get the instant design with all colors, text. Within an hour, I can create an app running with the backend, and also I can get the website running. This is the latest status of developing apps or developing applications. This is the rate at which things are going. So are you really geared up for all this? So that's the reason I say be a part of community to know what is the latest trend in the tech and keep yourself adapted. You cannot be a developer throughout your life for 10 years because you're going to go to a different phase of architect, advocate, or a program manager, something on those bases. So you have to keep yourself updated. So this is purely focused on both community side and what you could do with your existing tools. Okay. DevOps, it's a very important concept. Every software developer needs to know there is something called DevOps. It's a practice that you have to rigidly follow in order to build better applications. Tell me as a developer who does not build applications. Either it's a web application, mobile applications, or a back end or anything. There needs to be a strategy, there needs to be a prototype, there need to be a practice that you will have to follow irrespective of which company you join. Whether it's a startup or an MNC or a FANG, MANG company, anything, you will have to follow it. So ensure that if you're an ongoing college students, get this DevOps certified, learn about it. If you are a professional, if you're already following a DevOps, see how interior or get depth into it to understand how can you do the integration part to make your applications much better while building it and giving it a good quality. Just not fixing a bug. I've seen most of the developers in my life, they come, they say, okay, Kamal, you know what? I have this, I'm going to fix this, I raise a ticket, I'm done with my job, that's it. No, that's not a job of a developer. A developer's job is much more to see how I can increase the performance, increase the quality, reduce the error, and be more efficient. That is what the client is actually looking for. The reason is, if you're looking only to raise a ticket, finish it, move on, what if there is a bug that comes later, completely entire thing has to be shut down and rebuilt again. So it's going to be a stressful life. So think about it, adopt DevOps technology. So it's just a practice that you follow, irrespective of what. I'm not going to promote you saying, okay, you have to follow Azure DevOps. No. Whatever is comfortable, follow one of the technologies or one of the framework patterns, and then just keep moving on. So that is one good thing to kickstart as a software developer if you're building applications. So always this development life is not only about fixing a bug or creating a new feature. It has a complete life cycle which most of us don't do it. They say testing, it's not a part of my job, it's a tester's job. Building, okay, the GitHub does for me, the CI/CD tools does that for me. Coding, that is the only part. The design, that's not my part. That's not the state, or that's not the case in these days. It's going to be entirely different, where as a developer, you're going to go through all these phases. That is coding, starting from the code part. You're going to build it. And if there is any errors related to the build process also, you will have to take care. If your system is smart enough, your system will take care of it. Testing, yes, you will have to do certain testings from your side before you give it to the tester. Releases, most of the tools covers it, but still, these are the phases that you will have to be aware of it. Still, I've seen developers, they are not aware of these status. Deployment. Operations, yeah, I would suggest operation is something that you don't have to touch on a full basis because you would have a business consultant taking care of it. But operations and monitors and the planning part, you can touch base on it. So this is the entire process of software application in the DevOps, and this is a continuous deliver. It's not like for one cycle you're done and you're good to go. No, it's a continuous process. One thing which I firmly believe is statistics. I always back myself with statistics before I talk about something, whether it's Flutter, React, Azure, or XYZ technology, anything. Always back yourself with statistics. The reason is when your client comes to you and asks, okay, Kamal, you know what, I want to build this beautiful website which has a lot of animations, this is the back end, I want a lot of transactions, API integrations. How are you going to tell which one is the best? So you're going to tell, okay, give me a day, I'm going to think about it, let me write a proposal, I'll get back to you. So these are the answers we give. So in that proposal, what would you do? You would immediately check out your colleagues or your friends, or you might do some research. I would suggest go ahead, look for statistics. Look into the market. What is the one that's been performing? Just because someone has adopted a particular technology does not mean you have to adopt it. No, you're the one that's going to build this software, right? So you should know, for this requirement, if I use this technology, what is the outcomes, what are the repercussions, what are the advantages, and in case something breaks, I'll be responsible for it, and how am I going to tackle it? So you always need to keep yourself backed up with it. So do not go, if someone says everybody jumps for, okay, I'm going to go for Java, Kotlin, no. You can go for a different technology also, but you have to prove yourself, you have to inform your client why it is. So similarly, Azure DevOps or DevOps skills has been adopted by so many people. You can see that the recruitment industry also is looking for it. 25% of the software developers require or acquire DevOps skills. Recruiters are looking for it. Startup companies are looking for it. These days, I would say post-COVID, things have changed. Everybody is into the freelancing mode, right? So everybody wants to get into consultation mode because they know about a particular tech. They want to kind of embrace it and kind of see how they can leverage their skills. So if that's the passion that you want to take, definitely DevOps is something that you will have to adopt. It's mandatory because you would be a project manager, you would be a developer, you would be a tester, you would be the user, in fact, testing it, everything. So definitely you need a DevOps skills to be imbibed or learned or used to be. Okay? So that's why I'm emphasizing it is very important, mandatory to get the skill. Initially, I think 5, 6 years or even 7 years back, people used to say, get your data structures. That is, go to Lead Code or go to Geeks Ants or whatever they say, go learn all your algorithms and all that stuff. But these days, I would suggest algorithm everybody can learn by just mugging up or doing things. I think if you do the binary or linear search 10 to 20 times, you will definitely get it. But doing something like this, building a skill called DevOps is something which is going to help you in future, at least for the down the lane for 10 years at least. So trust me, this works and this is what has been adopted. So rather than saying why DevOps, I would say why companies are adopting DevOps or what companies can achieve using DevOps. That's very important. Everybody can say, why should I learn DevOps? I'm going to show you the results by company achieving this. They are able to achieve at least 4 times good quality software applications. That is what the company would require, right? How would I stand out from the rest of the person when I build something which is so firm, good quality, and even if I kind of add new features, it's absolutely fine. Nothing is happening with my software. So that's the kind of software, if they're looking for it, that all comes if you are planned well using a DevOps, structured, added sprints, having a program manager to do it. Instead of depending on the program manager, you yourself can do it. So that is the kind of culture you have to imbibe. So companies have started adopting. Tell me, anybody is using DevOps? I think a couple of them answered, right? What kind of DevOps techniques are you using? Yeah. I think I saw you. Yeah. Okay, you need to be a little loud. Excuse me, can I get a mic or something to that person?
Yeah, we follow the sprint planning and we create pipelines for different applications.
Okay, fine. Okay. Anybody else, any other DevOps techniques like Agile, Waterfall? Yeah.
This is Rajgopal
Hi.
from TechM, actually. We are in the process of delivering quality stuff on DevOps and all the other latest technologies in terms of the RFPs and RFQs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we have to work on all the DevOps tools which are common across all the 3 cloud platforms.
Definitely.
With respect to cloud agnostic, it will be on Microsoft, it will be on Amazon as well as on GCP.
Yeah. So I'm not here to say, okay, go ahead with Microsoft or go ahead with Google or go ahead with any of the suites. Whatever is comfortable, go ahead with that. But adopt the skill, think about it, and also make use of something which you're already using day in and day out. Everybody uses Teams day in and day out. Everybody uses DevOps, but nobody thought about an integration between those two that will make your job a little more easy, not just little more, far better easy. So give it a try and see how it works, and I'll show you also how today it could be done. It's very simple. Just use few clicks and you're good to go. So by doing this, what are the companies really achieving it? Failures, which is very important. When you kind of build up, I've seen software projects being planned by the project managers, and at the end of the month or the sprint, I see it completely crashing down. That's because of the pure failure of planning. So these kind of failures, because you would have done the best and the most part of it by developing the code. There's nothing wrong with you, but the planning wouldn't have been proper. They wouldn't have tested it with various scenarios. They wouldn't have done the running test cases on different modules. So what has the developer got to do it? You've done your job, right? So that planning is very important. Innovation, it actually accelerates innovation. There are a lot of things when I kind of add a project in a DevOps, and then I kind of find out that there are so many other features that I can really add to these DevOps thing. The innovation really starts, the collaboration starts. It increases your efficiency. Spending a task of almost a day or 2, you can finish it in 20 to 30 minutes if you know the strategy or you know the tactics how to solve it. Then what else do you require? That is how efficiently you can work. Recovery time, improve collaboration. Yes, you work in teams, but right now, yeah, freelancing mode is on. Working from home, things work, but still project requires collaboration. When you work with inter-team collaboration, like you are a developer, you need to work with the engineering team. You are an advocate, you need to work with the marketing team. You are a content creator, you need to work with the social media team. So these kind of collaborations could be done more effectively. You don't have to be in person to do things. You can just collaborate on using Teams and Azure DevOps. And finally, everybody is working for money, right? Definitely, I'm also working for money. At the end of the day, if I'm increasing the revenue for my company, definitely my revenue also increases. So that's how you are kind of increasing the economy, getting things done, working on it. So introducing to Azure DevOps, as I told you, it's again another practice that you will have to follow, introduced by Microsoft to work on managing your software applications, to bring a good, better quality, managing it, how to migrate things, how to work on it. So you'll see a lot of features about it. So it's easy to collaborate. As I told you, collaborations are easy, build releases. Say you build in one of the IDEs and then you want to share this particular thing to someone else, how would you do it? You need a tool to collaborate, right? Okay, I'll give the GitHub link, absolutely fine, but how that collaboration is happening? I want to inform the marketing team, okay, I'm done with this task. These are the issues, these are the tickets, these are the GitHub links. So you need definitely a tool to let them know, assign it, what is the duration, what is the priority, how risky it is, who are the people getting involved in it. So these are the factors that these kind of tools really help you with it. Agile Scrum Board. I have a task, I have 20 tasks to be completed to finish this website. So I can either put that, prioritize your task. There are few things that does not involve any team, it's a single-handed person work, then I can get things in one of the board. Multi-team requirement or multi-team collaboration, put it in a different task. So these kind of tasks can be done, planned accordingly, not release it in an early sprint, rather take it in a longer sprint and then work on it. So these are the few features that Azure DevOps has. One is the repos. Definitely day in and day out, we keep working on code, right? So we need repo integrations. So how do we use? We use one of the Git providers, GitHub, Bitbucket, or what are the other source providers? Yeah, couple of them, SVN kind of things we use. So if I'm able to integrate that with my DevOps thing, what better I could do it? Instead of keep switching my tab, go to GitHub, get things, put it over here, that's not the kind of work I'm going to do. It's going to waste a lot of my time. So we have Azure Repos, we have Azure Pipelines. Pipelines, connectors, these all are very important things in Azure because I'm going to get the live data. Say in Microsoft Team, I want to create an app to find a weather in a particular location. I need to have a real data from a different application, which is a third-party applications, right? So how am I going to get it? Connectors and pipelines, they are going to help me with it. Boards, definitely, yeah, sprint board, you need one when you are planning a projects. Test plans, it runs automated test. There are a lot of test suites on it, so you can run it and you can see the errors. And artifacts, artifacts are the plugins and packages which you use them. You can create and on a single click you can run these packages. That is how efficient Azure is. If you haven't tried one, it's free trial, give it a try and see how it works. Most of the professionals will have access to Microsoft. So give it a try, you might be having, it's just that you didn't know about it. All you would have do is open the Outlook, open Teams and you're done for the day and you open your IDE and start working on it. But definitely if you have Outlook and Teams, you have access to all these Azure tools. So ask your team, get it activated and start using it. It's very easily manageable, give it a try. So as I told you, connectors, webhooks, these are the one connects you with a web service. Say for example, I have Twitter and I want to connect my Twitter to Azure. How will I do it? Very simple. I have connectors, I have pipeline. Connect my handle. Whatever tweets I keep doing on my Twitter, I keep getting it on notified on my Azure DevOps. So say for example, you are promoting a particular technology and you want to know how many people are tweeting about it. So if you do the connectors and the pipelines, you would get connected and you would have the entire data visible on your channel. When you create a channel in Team, it will keep on creating like a bot. It will keep on updating it. So you don't have to go to Teams in order, Twitter to view all this information. That is how Azure DevOps is so easy to integrate your all third party. Think about Slack, think about Trello, think about Wiki, anything, all these can be extended into your Azure DevOps. So that all you have to do is open Teams and you're good to go. Everything is open, all the channels are created, everything works in one place. Microsoft Teams. So as I told you, everybody's using Teams day in and day out, but we all use it just for one purpose, is for calling your colleagues, communicating or looking for someone's profile, where they are located or what designation they are. That is what some of them still do that, but do not use Teams for that. It's more than that. But yes, there are certain challenges, but challenges are being solved every day. Only when you let me or the Microsoft team know about it, we'll let you know if there is something work in progress or that's been solved, or is there any alternative that's been working for it. So as I told you, everybody knows Teams is for these few purposes, but there's something more also you can do with Teams. Have you used bots in Team? Any bot experience using Teams? Yeah, so have you used bots for? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so what it does? Leave. Okay. Okay, if that was not the case, what was the traditional approach you had to use? Absolutely. So what one of my colleagues, one of my friend here says he's using the leave bots where all I have to do is apply leave, I just type that, I get a set of standard questions, answers, I click on it, I get a leave approved, and my manager also gets a notification and it's done. This is the best way that you can get things done without any other's help or getting confused or any other delay happening. Yeah.
We used FAQ bot for checking the policies, data, all those
A little
things.
more, little more.
We used FAQ bots to get policy related data, all those
Yes.
things, as well as Power Automate integrations to
Yes.
apply the leaves. Yeah.
Yeah. When I joined Microsoft, the best thing was I was from work from home. So I did not have to talk to anybody to get help. All I used was most of the bots. So I just typed, okay, how do I go here? What is this? What is this glossary? Where is it? How do I apply leaves? How do I get a particular package? How do I get to a particular machine? Everything bots were answering. But if it's something which requires a physical presence where they have to talk to me and deal with things, then that's when I had to really get into incident and ticket raising and all. So Microsoft team makes use of bots. Now, why am I emphasizing so much on bots is you can create a bot in 5 minutes. That is how easy it is in Teams. You want to create a bot on, say for example, a tax buddy. I know applying taxes or filling your taxes is so difficult. You really don't know still so many questions. So people are finding it difficult. So what if I had a tax bot? What if I had sketch notes? Sketch notes is something like I go to a conference, I give a talk, we forget things. What if I could make or just add those few letters, like say for example, Azure, Teams, Cloud, MongoDB, I add these terms and I'm able to create a sketch note of it and I can keep that for future reference and it is a digital and I can share it to anybody. So I can create these kind of apps and these all are easy to create on Teams and I'll show you how to do that as well. So you get a customized workspace, you get developer platform which is always a relief for a developer because I know apps are there, I know how to use it, I know how to use the features of it, but as a developer, I'll always be probing to come up with a developer platform where I can develop something. And that is also available in Teams, which you could use it. And connectors, as I told you, you want to connect to the third-party world or the outside world, get data inside your Teams, use connectors. Mesh for Microsoft Teams. How many of you have heard or watched Ignite yesterday that it happened or in build event? Anybody? Oh, not bad. Oh, okay, you won. Okay. What do you know about it? Oh, okay, fine, cool, no worries. So they have introduced Mesh for Microsoft Teams. So me joining, or most of you would have worked during your pandemic time, right? So meetings would be entirely different. So this is the new way of getting into the virtual reality with your HoloLenses, virtual reality, or just Teams. You can choose your own avatar, you can choose your background, and it gives you that real feeling, you know. So even if I had to say in a meeting to someone that, you know what, I'm okay, I'm fine, time out, I'm just going to do this. But see if my avatar does that, or I'm just going to put emojis, I'm going to put a smiley, I'm going to put a frowning face, I'm going to put a crying face, right? The person really does not get the message. But if I'm going to use these kind of virtual reality animated avatars, you know how it's going to be? I can really be the person. If I'm smiling, I can see the smiling. If I'm cheering up something, I can do this. So they are trying to get this world into Microsoft Teams. It's just not meetings. It's about connecting to a different world entirely digitally, 3D. Think about all these fancy terms of animations or getting into it. So until now, getting or I would say scheduling calls was so robustic and so monotonous, so boring. Future meetings are going to be like this. So you can create your own avatars, you can do a lot of things over here, and it's right now available. You can give it a try on Microsoft Teams. So look for Mesh for Microsoft Teams and you can try it out. So this is going to be the future world of working from home or even working from office sometimes. Connect with people digitally and the internet. So this is how it's going to work. And yeah, so until now I've spoke about teams, what you could do. Now I'm going to talk about Azure DevOps Services, what are the services available and how you're going to connect your Microsoft Teams with your DevOps and see the best part of connecting it. All you need is just two things, prerequisite. I'm not going to say install this IDE, get this tech stack, the best thing or learn about it. All you need is an Office 365 account and your DevOps setup. If you have these two things set up, you're good to go integrating your DevOps and your teams and get your project rolling. Now, how do you do it? So first thing, get onto Teams, create a channel. That's the mandatory thing that you'll have to do it because you cannot do it in a general channel. Have something very specific. Say, for example, building a website. And the next thing what you do is you have an Eclipse icon, click on the connector and connect your Azure DevOps project, which is already running, planned, well built on your DevOps project. Get them connected. As I told you, that connector is that which you'll have to do it. Then you have something called as Azure DevOps project organization, adding team members, all those settings. So this is nothing rocket science. All you have to do is just few clicks and you're good to go, connecting your DevOps and your teams. Then connecting your organization, adding tabs. What are my updated tasks? What is the pending task? What is the delivered task? What is the completed task? So these kind of tabs I could add. Then the Kanban board, where you can tell you what are the sprints really running, what is completed, what is yet to complete. And then the pipelines, as I told you, pipelines are required for CI, CID automations to run your automated build. You add a code, it does the build automatically and you don't have to look for anything. Just the build result is enough for you or the entire team to view it and then you're good to go. Add teams. You can add teams within a team. So when I say website creations, I can add UX, UI team, testing team, development team, backend team, front-end team. So I can add teams and everybody can access it and you being the project manager can access the main teams and see what's happening within the teams. And set up a bot. You can set up a bot inside your channel for the project that you have created and have people work on it because projects are not simple enough. It's going to be complicated. If someone wants to look for a particular task, say for example, a login feature, he's not going to look Control F and keep looking or Command F for login feature. He can ask the bot login feature for this particular channel project and I'm able to get that. That is how easy it is to get your Azure DevOps linked with your Microsoft Teams. So, as a developer, as I told you, always back yourself with statistics, with the latest tool and what's new about this particular tool in the sense that if the tool is already in the market, there would be releases happening every week or month on the GitHub. Tell me how many of you really get into GitHub, watch for the releases or watch for the issues getting closed, open. Do you really do that? I hardly see anybody doing that. Because why am I saying this so confidently is, I have people approaching asking, you know what, I'm looking for this particular feature and I'm not able to find it. If you had looked into GitHub issues, it would have already got resolved or it would have already proposed with a new solution or it would have been introduced in the releases. Every software application or every packages, every plugins will have a release. Release 3.0.1, 3.0.2. But nobody observes the releases. Only they observe is major release, major tool releases. No, these kind of releases have to be observed. So, new things about Azure thing, what is available is, you have Azure Board App for Microsoft Teams. Yes, when you are doing it, you have board apps where you can create your own boards for the team. These all are very small things. Trust me, as a developer, it really helps you a lot to organize your work. Import work items to CSV. I'll show you in a minute how this really works. Quick navigation in Azure board searches. Searching a particular task. Trust me, when you open Azure DevOps, you would find thousands of tasks. How are you going to search? Search just not, I'm talking about a Control F search. It's a more sophisticated search where you have very specific to what you're looking for. When I say login, I would have hundreds of login issues by the entire company, right? So very specific and advanced search is what I'm looking for. And that Azure DevOps provide you. Now look at this. If you see, if I have to import a CSV file, it's so easy. in your Azure DevOps, click on browse, upload, and you can see the task getting created. So if I had to do this, I'm going to take at least 20 minutes if I'm really good at typing, at least 30 minutes to create each task with a priority, everything. So if I have an Excel sheet, I'm good to go in 2 to 3 seconds. So that's the kind of efficiency that tool is going to help us do things. So make use of all this and try working on it. I see still company using Excel sheet for managing things. So if you are one of the such companies, nothing wrong with it. You can use this tool to upload things. Just not for this data, any kind of CSV data, you can upload it. Okay, repos. Repos is very important. As I told you, we always use one kind of code repository. That is, most of us use GitHub, right? So GitHub, if I have it in a separate place, building, adding code, it's good. But how am I going to integrate it with my Azure DevOps? I need some connection, right? This is entirely built by a company XYZ, and this GitHub is entirely different. So how am I going to integrate? Am I going to do cut and copy paste and put it in my Azure DevOps? No, I'm not going to do that. So I need some integration. So that's when connectors come, apps are built, extensions are built. All you have to do is just add your GitHub repo link and you're good to go. You have all your code in the Azure DevOps. You can, the moment someone updates a pull request, merges something, you get notified. Okay, XYZ has updated it. Can you check this? Is it good to go? The build has failed. You don't have to get into GitHub to look into all this. Proximity support for code search. Again, it's the code kind of searching, which is more advanced in your Azure DevOps. So give it a try. These all are very small nitty-gritty features, but trust me, as a developer, when you're working in a project, these plays a very important role, and it becomes so easy and handy to you. So these are few features that Azure DevOps looks like. So as whatever I spoke about it, you would see here. And recently visited Wiki Pages. How many DevOps engines really give you the access to Wiki Pages? So that I don't even have to go. I still have tabs. I think I have almost 40 tabs open on my Chrome. I still have that issues. I forget to close so many tabs. And I don't know if I've opened a single tab somewhere. I don't know how to navigate back to it because I would have got lost opening so many tabs. So what we are trying to achieve here is Azure DevOps Teams is something which we use day in and day out. Why don't we have everything integrated in one place and making my job easy? My code is repository is in Teams. My team's entire team is there in the Teams. My notifications are done. My bot is done. All the services are integrated. Wiki is there. Testing has been done. Build release is done. Project planning is done. So in one place I get everything. Then I don't really have to go for a third-party service. I don't have to go externally looking for something. I have everything in one place. That is the beauty of Azure DevOps in Microsoft Teams. Okay. Okay, another 5 minutes. 4 minutes. Good to go, good to go. Okay. Microsoft have started a new thing called as Teams App Camp. Okay. Now you see so many things. Who built all this? Developers like you and me are building this, right? So many apps we find in Teams. You want to build a leave, you want to apply for a leave, you have an app. You want to integrate GitHub, you have an app. So who's building this? Developers, right? So similarly, anybody, if you have a web application and you want to get that on your Microsoft Teams, you can do it with this particular tool or this particular framework, which is called the App Camp. Just follow few things and you can get your existing application, web application. Let me be very specific. You can get your existing web application running on your Microsoft Teams. And how do you do it? So this is the Microsoft Teams App Camp, which is happening online virtual. And from November, it might happen in your cities. So if you want to be a part of it, how to migrate, extend, or even build a new app into your Microsoft Teams. You can, you can kind of tell loudly that I can build apps in Microsoft Teams also now. So that everybody, there are almost billions of people using Teams. Everybody can use your app. That is the feature of it. If you develop an Android app, yes, it's getting into the store, good to go. But Teams you use day in and day out, right? From morning 9 to 5, you're using Teams. So if there's someone using your app, why don't you come up with something? So it is easy and possible to migrate your existing web applications to Teams. using this. I'm just going to give you the link and you can register as well. So if you ask me, Kamal, what languages do I have to know? Should I learn a different languages? Nothing. All you need a Visual Studio Code. You need Node.js. I think most of the web applications or developers would know about it. And Microsoft 365 tenant. All that is what you require. And you're good to go in migrating, building, extending, or coming up with a new idea of building apps in Microsoft Teams. So we'll catch up offline if you want to know more about it, definitely. So as I told you, even if you want to build and monetize your app, I have an app which is generating money for me. If I put in Teams, can I still do it? Yes, definitely you can do it. You can migrate your apps. You can extend your existing applications into Teams. That is also possible. Or you can start something from scratch where just get onto Visual Studio Code and you can start typing building Teams app. You already have sample templates ready-made for you and you can build apps in minutes. Not a rocket science, you can do. If you can build mobile apps, you can also build Teams apps. So I'll freeze the screen for a second. Just click on this link or take a screenshot of it and get onto this repo and you can start it in minutes to build apps on Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I'll also freeze the screen, and if you want to know where I've taken this reference, it's very simple. Get onto Microsoft website. These are the links. Know about Azure, know about Microsoft Teams, know about the App Camp. Everything you can find out here. Okay, finally, thank you so much